Hi, back once again, Totally Magic channel here at YouTube, and another simple card trick for you. You say to someone, we're going to do a trick where you're actually going to perform most of it yourself. I want you to take those cards and shuffle. Happy with that? Yeah. I now want you to cut the cards in half. That looks pretty good to me. Now, what I want you to do is to choose either top or bottom. Do you want the top half or the bottom half to choose a card from? Your choice. The bottom half. Okay. I want you to take any card from that bottom half of shuffled cards. The spectator will remember their card. Now, do you want to put it on top of the bottom half or the top half? The top half, yeah. And just put these on top so we lose your card in there somewhere. Now we're going to lose them even more because I'm going to deal out 4 hands of cards like this, and as I deal these I'm going to give the cards to you so you can deal out some of these yourself. You take the cards, and can you deal out 4 hands of cards on top of those? 4 even heaps of cards, pretty well mixed up. Now what I'm going to do is to show you each one of these. I just want you to look for your card. Have you seen your card? You have. In a moment I'm going to click my fingers, and immediately you hear that sound. Grab the packet that contains your freely chosen card. Are you ready? That is the freely chosen card in there. What I'd like you to do now is, can you deal out 4 even piles of cards? Okay, right, you seem to have this one's got an extra card in, so we'll get rid of that. That leaves you with these 3 packets. I want you to eliminate the top cards and the bottom cards. You now left 3 cards, random cards. Top and bottom is the name of this trick. I wonder where it gets its name from. Can you remove the top card and the bottom card? Just to recap, you shuffled the pack. You cut the pack, you chose a half, you took a card, you lost it in the pack. We dealt out loads of cards. One by one, we eliminated top and bottom. Top and bottom, everything was top and bottom. You've arrived at a single card. I've got no idea what your card is. For the first time, what was the card that you freely selected? The 3 of diamonds. And there is the 3 of diamonds. So this particular trick is a very simple trick to do. It's what we call a self-worker. As long as you've got 52 cards, that's the only requirement. No jokers, just 52 cards. Everything you saw in the routine, just follow that, it will work. But there is one thing to bear in mind to make it work. Let me just point this out. They shuffle the cards and they cut the cards. Now when they cut the cards, it has to be pretty close to half of the pack. Now this doesn't look too bad. You can be within 3-4 cards out either side, so it's not absolute critical. They've got 26 cards in each. Now if you see them cut ridiculously like that, as a magician you can see straight away that there's more cards here than here. That's nowhere near halfway. What I tend to do is just take a few cards and just cut them again and just say make them a bit more even. It's up to you how you do that. Because as magicians we use cards almost every day of our life, we can kind of gauge what's about half. If it was slightly off, like this, I can see that this one's got slightly more cards. What I do is I tend to just push them together and just push a few cards. I say, look, let's even it up, because you've got to choose a card from one of these and we want you to have a fair choice. And that's it. I've just evened it up. It's not perfect, but you can be 3, 4, maybe 5 cards out either way. That's it. The rest of the trick is as it was performed. So they choose a card from any half. Let's just say they choose a card, the Ace of Hearts. You then give them a choice of putting it on top of the top half or the bottom half. Then you put this on top. I tell you what I do, so you can follow this. Let me turn this face up for the tutorial. You put this on there. The next thing is that you deal out cards. Now, anyone that's watched the channel for a while will know that the type of card trick that I hate performing is a self-worker where you have to keep dealing out the pack. I've done tricks like the 27 card trick, the 21 card trick, and there's several of these mathematical ones where you have to keep dealing out 52 cards. To me, there is nothing more boring for an audience to watch. Now, as magicians, we can deal out 52 cards fairly quickly, but it's still pretty boring. You have dead air. When a spectator deals them out, you'll be sitting there for 5 minutes. So I have to admit, I don't like that. And this one does involve dealing out the whole pack into 4 heaps. The only way I got around this, and it's got nothing to do with the trick, is that I start to deal out 4 hands of cards like this. Then as I'm going through, I say, to make sure that they get thoroughly mixed up, I did say that you was going to get involved. You deal them from your side, and they will then deal them themselves. And then you say, and give them back to me, and I'll deal a few out, and then you do. So it just makes it a little bit more interactive with them, rather than them dealing all the cards or you dealing all the cards, and then finally give them back to them and they deal out. It just gets them involved a bit more. That's my idea anyway. You then show them the cards. We obviously know it's this one, and again, I'm just going to say I click my fingers and make it dramatic. And again, because it's a self-worker and they've probably seen their granddads do this type of trick in the past when they were little kids. So just make it different. Say, when I click my fingers, grab the packet that contains your card. Bam, they're going to grab the packet. You just remove these out of the way. You say, what I'd like you to do now is deal another 4 equal heaps of cards. So I say equal rather than even. I think I said even in the presentation, but you really want to say equal amounts. So they start to deal. Now when they deal out, depending how they cut the cards, they will have an extra card that when they deal that, you say to them, well, hang on, this has got an unequal amount of cards in it, let's get rid of that. This has got 4 cards, these have all got 3. Get rid of those. The trick works itself, because now you're just going to say, I want you to remove the top and bottom cards. Can you remove the top cards? Now, if at this point you think that's too kind of regimented, remove the top cards, remove the bottom cards, you could kind of confuse it by saying to them, what I like you to do is to remove the top card from here, and just remember what you're telling them. Remove the bottom card from the middle one, and maybe the top card from here. I then do the reverse, is that I now say take the top card from here, maybe the bottom card from here. Now at this point, these two we don't need to worry about, because the middle card will always be their chosen card. Okay, so you could say remove the bottom. I tell you what, you choose. Do you want to remove the top or the bottom? It makes no difference at this point, and say the same over here. When you're left with 3 cards, you gather these up. Of course, when you gather these, their card is going to always be in the middle of the packet. And finally you say, we've dealt with top and bottom throughout, remove the top and bottom cards, and you're left with their chosen card. Now obviously don't have it face up, but just for this demonstration I was showing you how to follow that card. But it is a self worker. Have a go yourself, and it's actually quite amazing that it's one of those tricks where you don't know how it works, but it just works. Practice and enjoy.